Have you ever felt that something within you doesn't fit into this world? As if your soul knew a truth your mind cannot yet name. As if, even when surrounded by people, there existed within you a strange longing for someone you have never fully met, but whom your soul recognizes. It is not madness. It is not emotional neediness. It is not a romantic delusion. It is a sign. And what is happening right now on the spiritual plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has intensified lately. There is someone in the world at this very instant who carries the other half of your purpose. This person is not just someone destined to make you happy. This person is the key that unlocks a mission that only the two of you can fulfill together. And it is precisely for this reason that invisible forces have done everything to keep you separated, confused, wounded, spinning in circles with the wrong people, entering relationships that drain your energy, falling for those who cannot truly love you. Because an encounter between true soulmates is not just a romantic event. It is a spiritual earthquake. It is the formation of a portal of light that shakes the structures of darkness that have existed for millennia. And that is exactly why your soulmate, your true one, is suffering at this very moment. They are going through something that only you have the spiritual power to reverse. Only you. No one else. And if you have reached this video, the chosen one, it is because your soul already knows this. It was your soul that brought you here. It needs you to understand what I am about to reveal, because time is running out, and the bond that can still be restored starts to grow more fragile every day you remain unconscious of the role you carry. Pay attention to the signs. That feeling that someone is thinking of you right now. That tightness in your chest for no apparent reason. That dream where someone you don't recognize calls you by name. That tear that falls out of nowhere when you are alone in the silence of the night. None of this is random. None of it. Each of these signs is a message being sent by the soul of that person who is going through a trial, and who desperately needs you to awaken to the bond that exists between you. And that is why I prepared the powerful e-book for you, The Guardian's Covenant, for family protection. Because what exists between you and your soulmate is not just an emotional connection. It is a spiritual family bond, older than this body, stronger than this world. And the forces attacking this union are the same ones that have been attacking entire families of the chosen for generations. This e-book is not just reading, it is a map that reveals who is working against your reunion, what the invisible rules are that they never taught you about true soulmates, and what entities from other dimensions have already revealed about the exact moment we are living in. A moment when divine pairs are being reunited as part of humanity's final plan. This e-book was created for those who have awakened enough to know that true love is not an accident. It is a sacred mission. The link is pinned at the top of the comments. But I must warn you, this type of content is rarely available for long. What is on these pages defies narratives that many have an interest in keeping intact, and there have already been attempts to silence this knowledge before. Do not wait for the right moment. The right moment is now, the chosen one, because you did not come to this video by accident. Download it now and comment below. I am chosen, and I will download the ebook. Do it now, because every second you delay this act of faith is another second your soulmate remains suffering, not knowing that you are already on your way. Now that you have taken this first step, the next truth I will reveal to you will be the final blow against the force that has separating you both. There are 3 types of people who appear in your life claiming to be your soulmate, and only one of them is true. The other 2 are spiritual traps set precisely to divert you from the real encounter. The first trap is the so-called shadow mirror, a person who reflects all your pain, all your traumas, all your wounds, and you mistake this intensity for destiny. You feel a magnetic attraction, a connection that seems impossible to break, yet each encounter leaves you more broken, more emptied, more confused. That is not a soulmate. That is a mirror placed on your path by forces that want you to remain trapped in old patterns. The second trap is the false guardian, someone who appears saying everything you want to hear, promising healing, promising safety, promising to be exactly what was missing in you. But within months or sometimes years, You realize that this person has made you dependent, pulled you away from your true gifts, and distanced you from your purpose. They came to sedate you, not to awaken you. And then there is the true soulmate, the one who recognizes you even when you haven't recognized yourself yet, the one who does not take you away from your purpose. They remind you of it, the one who does not make you forget the Almighty. They draw you closer to Him, the one who, when looking into your eyes, does not see your past but your mission. And it is exactly this person, the real one, the true one, the one designated by higher plans, who is now at this very moment while you breathe, going through the most difficult time of their life. They may not know that you are the one they need. They may be surrounded by the wrong people. They may be in a relationship that is destroying them. They may be about to stop believing in love. But there is a part of them that still hopes, that still dreams, that still prays at night, even without knowing to whom exactly. And that prayer, the chosen one, is heard in your soul. Have you ever woken up suddenly at 3 in the morning with your heart racing, with a strange certainty that you needed to pray for someone you don't even know? That was not insomnia. It was a calling. Have you ever felt suddenly a deep sadness that does not belong to you, crying for no apparent reason that passes in minutes? That was not anxiety. It was the pain of your soulmate crossing your energy field, because the bond between you is so deep that feelings leak from one to the other across distance, across time, across dimensions. And here is a truth that will change everything for you starting today. The more you awaken spiritually, the stronger this channel between you becomes. And the stronger this channel, the more the enemy tries to block it. That is why often, when you start to get closer to your true calling, so many wrong people appear, so many confusing relationships, so many almosts that never materialize. It is not bad luck in love. It is targeted spiritual sabotage. And it was precisely because of this spiritual sabotage against divine pairs that I wrote this ebook, The Guardian's Covenant for Family Protection. Because family begins with the encounter between two designated souls, and protecting this encounter is protecting an entire project that the Almighty prepared since before your birth. This ebook reveals what no one has ever told you about the 3 spiritual traps that disguise themselves as soulmates, the energetic seals that must be broken for the true encounter to happen, and the specific prayers that open the paths between you and the person the Almighty has already chosen to walk by your side in this incarnation. This ebook was made for the chosen one like you, people who are tired of loves that wound, of relationships that drain, of encounters that promise and do not deliver. The link is pinned at the top of the comments. But I warn you, the content of this book challenges everything they teach out there about I Am Chosen, and I will download the ebook. Relationships, and there are forces that would prefer it to remain silent. It has been removed from other platforms before. Do not wait. Download it now and comment below. I am chosen, and I will download the ebook. Because your soulmate can no longer wait. She needs you to do your part first, and your part begins with this decision. Now that you have made the internal pact to take action, let me reveal the next level of this truth to you. There is an ancient spiritual principle that states, no soulmate is found before both reach a certain level of consciousness. This is the true secret behind missed connections. It is not chronological time that separates you, it is vibrational time. As long as one of the two is still trapped in low-frequency cycles, in toxic relationships, in emotional dependency, in subtle addictions, in anger, resentment, or fear, the encounter does not happen. And that is where one of the greatest mysteries lies. You may be the one who needs to rise first. You may be the one who carries the key to elevation. And if you do not rise, she does not rise. If you do not awaken completely, she cannot awaken. This is what is called the bond of spiritual responsibility, and almost no one talks about it. Your soulmate might be involved in the wrong relationship today because she could not elevate herself alone. She might be sunken in depression because the part of her that connects to the light is on your side, and you have not yet fully activated that connection. She might be on the verge of making a decision that will lock away the possibility of your encounter for decades, if you do nothing. This is the responsibility that weighs upon the chosen ones. We are not just pieces, we are guardians of one another. Every prayer of yours is heard by her, even if she doesn't know where the strength comes from. Every act of faith of yours is felt by her, even if she cannot explain why she suddenly felt hope. And there is something even deeper. There is an ancient, almost forgotten technique that mystics called soulmate anchoring. It is the conscious act of holding the other person's frequency within your field, even from a distance, even without contact, even without knowing their name. When you pray specifically for your soulmate, not for some generic someone, but for that soul that the Almighty prepared since before you were born, something moves in the invisible planes. Voices begin to speak to her in dreams. Signs begin to appear in her day. Doors begin to close in the wrong relationships she was still trying to maintain. And little by little her path begins to bend toward yours. But take heed, this technique only works when performed by the chosen one with full consciousness of who they are. If you are still doubting yourself, if you are still trapped in old patterns, if you are still comparing yourself to people who did not come for the same purpose as you, the anchoring does not hold, the frequency escapes, and the encounter is postponed once again. That is why it is so important to understand. You were chosen before this body existed. Your soul was selected in higher councils to walk alongside one specific soul in this passage of humanity. You signed this contract before you were born, and the forgetting of this contract, the famous veil that falls over memory when we incarnate, is the system's greatest trap. Because as long as you do not remember, you accept substitutes. As long as you do not remember, you settle for crumbs when you are entitled to the banquet. As long as you do not remember, you weep for those who cannot love you and ignore the signs of the one who was sent to truly love you. There are 3 irrefutable signs that you are close to the true encounter. The first is a growing restlessness with everything that previously satisfied you superficially. Relationships you once tolerated begin to become unbearable. Friendships that once seemed right begin to show their cracks. Environments that once were comfortable starts to suffocate you. This is not depression. It is your soul preparing to receive something greater, and it needs to clear space first. The second sign is vivid dreams of a presence you feel you know, but whose face you cannot define. You wake up with a strange sensation of having been with that person, and it takes minutes until you realize it was just a dream. Because in some part of your being, that was no dream. It was a meeting on the higher planes while your body slept. The third sign is the most powerful. Absurd synchronicities involving certain numbers, words, symbols, and songs that appear repeatedly without logical explanation. These are spiritual markings. It is as if the universe were drawing the path on the ground so you do not get lost. And there is something that must be said with absolute clarity now. You do not need to search. You need to prepare. The desperate search is one of the enemy's most effective traps. While you chase, you emit a frequency of scarcity. And a frequency of scarcity attracts substitutes, not the true soulmate. The true soulmate is attracted by the frequency of fullness, not the false fullness of those who settle, but the real fullness of those who know who they are and where they are going. When you become this version of yourself, the paths move on their own. The wrong people fall away by themselves, and the right person appears at the exact moment, often coming from a place you would never expect. And it is precisely because of this preparation that I need to remind you again of the e-book The Guardian's Covenant for Family Protection. Because this e-book does not talk about how to win someone over. It talks about how to become the portal through which divine love can enter your life without being intercepted along the way. It reveals the specific prayers for anchoring your soulmate, the spiritual seals that must be broken within you before the meeting can happen, and the complete map of the invisible attacks against divine pairs in these end times we are in. This e-book was written for the chosen one, who is ready to stop accepting emotional crumbs and to position themselves to receive the spiritual family that the Almighty prepared since before the beginning of time. The link is pinned at the top of the comments. But I repeat to you, the chosen one, this content challenges everything taught out there about love. It exposes the strategies of forces that have fed on the separation between soulmates for centuries, and that is why it has already been the target of censorship attempts before. Download it while it is still available and write down below, "I am chosen and I will download the ebook." Because every day you delay is a day that your soulmate remains exposed to a trap that only your awakening can undo. Now that you have made this commitment, the moment has arrived for me to reveal the most powerful part of this message, the one that changes everything. There is a dark side to this story that almost no one has the courage to touch. And I will touch it now, because you need to know. When two true soulmates are close to meeting on the physical plane, the spiritual enemy goes into emergency mode. It mobilizes specific forces whose only function is to prevent this meeting. These forces do not attack with the violence you imagine. They attack with subtlety. A pointless argument that separates you before you even get to know each other better. A message that does not arrive. A meeting that is cancelled for a silly reason. A city that changes. A job that changes its hours. An ex who reappears at exactly the wrong moment. None of this is coincidence. Each of these events, when you look back with open eyes, is a piece moved on the invisible board to pull you away from the right person. And there is an even crueler tactic, sending substitutes disguised as destiny. People carefully placed in your path who carry a few traits of your true soulmate. The same look, the same type of conversation, the same type of superficial energy. But they are not her. You attach yourself, you invest, you give your heart away, and when you realize it, you have spent years with someone who was only there to keep you from the true encounter. This happens to the chosen one all the time. If you have already experienced this, know this. It was not your fault. You were not naive. You were deceived by a sophisticated spiritual engineering that has already been applied to thousands before you. But now you know, and he who knows falls for it no more. A question naturally arises at this point: how to recognize the true soulmate when she arrives. There are unmistakable spiritual marks. The first is a sense of absolute familiarity, without artificial excitement. It is not that confusing butterfly in the stomach feeling of wrong connections. It is a peace. It is as if you have known that person for lifetimes, because you have. The second mark is the alignment of purpose. The true soulmate does not make you forget your spiritual mission. She reminds you of it, strengthens you in it, and propels you into it. If someone appears in your life and you begin to drift away from your faith, your prayer, your calling, that person is not your soulmate, no matter how strong the attraction. The third mark is the discomfort of the enemy. When you begin to connect with the true soulmate, you feel an intensification of spiritual trials. Bad dreams return. Old patterns try to resurface. Strange temptations appear. This is a sign that the encounter is real, because the enemy does not waste heavy ammunition on that which does not threaten his kingdom. And here is something that must enter your heart now with the force of a hammer. Your soulmate is not just your romantic partner. She is your battle partner. She is the person you were designated to fulfill a specific spiritual mission with in this passage of humanity. Together you generate a frequency that you could never reach alone. Together you form a shield that protects generations. Together you open portals of blessing for people who have yet to be born from your lineage. That is why the attack against your union is so ferocious. It is not about the marriage itself. It is about what comes after. About the spiritual children that only you together could generate, about the people that only you together could help, about the testimony that only you together could give to the world. And if you are in a relationship now, be it marriage, dating, or an old flame, and you feel deep in your chest that it does not align with what you have just heard, take a deep breath. It is not for you to panic. It is for you to become aware. Pray, ask the Almighty to reveal. Ask for signs. And trust. When something needs to be removed from your path to make room for the true one, the Almighty removes it. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to break anything. You just need to align yourself with the truth, and the truth does its work. It reorganizes everything. Another important revelation. Your soulmate may be exactly in the most difficult phase of her life right now. Perhaps she is going through a loss. Perhaps she is coming out of a relationship that destroyed her. Perhaps she is sick. Perhaps she is in deep depression. Perhaps she is questioning the Almighty. This is common before the encounter. Often it is precisely this ordeal that breaks the last veil, because extreme pain opens the soul to receive what was foreseen. If you feel this affliction in the air, if you cry for no reason, if you wake up feeling heavy, it may be exactly this, her journey reaching its climax. And it is up to you, the chosen one, to pray, to intercede, to hold the light, because she will reach you. She is coming. But she needs your faith covering her path right now. And there is one last technique I need to teach you before we continue: the powerful silence. Many of the chosen ones speak too much about their pains, their searches, their romantic expectations. This weakens the field. Every word spoken to the wind on this topic is an energy. Disperse, store, close, select with whom you share. And above all, do not tell everyone when you start feeling the signs of the encounter approaching. Because the envy of others, even if unintentional, acts as an energetic brake. The chosen ones protect their achievements before they manifest. They speak afterwards to give testimony, never before. And another truth that must be said: you will not find this person if you continue consuming content that keeps you in a victim frequency. If you remain in toxic environments, if you continue with people who mock your faith. The encounter demands preparation of the ground. And the ground is your spiritual routine, how you start your day, what you feed your mind with, which voices you allow in. Start protecting this. Start establishing a sacred perimeter around you. Choose what you consume. Choose who you associate with. Choose what you say. Each choice in this direction accelerates the encounter. And when you feel that deep loneliness invade, and it will invade, especially at night, especially on dates that hurt, especially when you see couples who seem happy, do not run from it. Do not numb it with quick relationships, with people you know will not add to your life. Stay with this loneliness. Listen to what it says. It is preparing you. It is emptying you so that you can fit entirely into what is coming. This loneliness is sacred. It is the loneliness that precedes the encounter. It is the last phase of preparation. And whoever crosses this loneliness without trying to fill it with a substitute reaps the encounter soon. A final truth before the last period: the moment of the encounter is chosen by the Almighty, not by you. When you stop forcing, it starts to happen. When you stop chasing, you start to attract. When you surrender the rhythm to the one who created time, time bends in your favor. This is the spiritual law. This is the key that the ancient mystics knew, and that most today have forgotten. The chosen one, take a deep breath now. Feel. Trust. She is coming. He is coming. And when it arrives, you will look back and understand. Nothing was by chance. Not a single tear. Not a single restless night. Not a strange dream. Everything, absolutely everything, was being prepared for the moment when your eyes finally meet, and the soul finally recognizes what it already knew from before the beginning of time. And it is for all this that I need to make one final request before we end this encounter. If every word of this message touched something inside you, if you felt your heart race at some point, if you cried, if you recognized your story in parts I didn't even know I was telling, then this was the confirmation that was missing. You are the chosen one. You have a real soulmate waiting. And the next practical step that the Almighty is asking of you now is that you do not leave here empty-handed. The ebook. The Guardian's Covenant for Family Protection was written to reach you exactly at this moment of your journey. It contains the specific anchoring prayers to call your true soulmate without attracting substitutes. It contains the 7 seals that need to be broken within you before the encounter. It contains the map of spiritual attacks against divine pairs and how to neutralize each of them. It contains the synchronicities that confirm you are in the final phase of preparation. It contains the revelations that mystics spent centuries guarding and which now, in this time, need to reach the chosen ones, like you. The link is pinned at the top of the comments. Download it now. Do not leave it for tomorrow. Tomorrow may be too late. And not because I want to rush you, but because your soulmate can no longer wait. They need you to do your part now. Write below before leaving the video, "I'm chosen and I will download the ebook." Write with faith. Write like someone sealing a spiritual pact, because that is exactly what happens at this moment. A covenant of love being forged in the unseen realms, so that the meeting may manifest in the visible plane. This content rarely remains available for long. There have already been attempts to take it down. Take advantage while it is here. Download it, read it, apply it, and prepare yourself to live the greatest love story of your existence, one that began before this body and will continue after it. You did not come across this video by chance, the chosen one. No, the chosen one arrives by chance. And if you have arrived, it is because the time has come.